Feature Friday.
The freshest. What up, people? Welcome to Feature Friday Plus. Today we are joined by Darren. Come on,
Let's
welcome,
go.
man.
Hi everyone. It's so nice to be here. I've seen a few of your episodes from before, also with so yeah. Thanks for having me.
Nah, man.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Actually, it's quite exciting to have you here because your career is one of the most exciting things that I have ever witnessed. From such a young age to now, and being, double platinum record selling albums. Tell us all the way back to the beginning. How did it all start for you?
Well, I really only started publicly singing when I was 8 years old back in Canada because I really didn't like performing in front of other people. I was very shy. And it was my parents who was always pushing me to like perform in front of, even just in front of family members or friends. Whenever they would make me sing on the karaoke, I wouldn't want to. I would like almost cry. So they would have to bribe me to like, tomorrow we're gonna buy ice cream, or we're gonna go to a toy store or something like that. And then I really just stood there like a pole in my first public appearance when I was 8. I was singing in front of a crowd. I did not move or anything. And after my first song, I was just so happy that it was over. And then the audience cheered more and more. And then the producers were like, "Can he sing one more song?" He was like that to my parents. And I was really looking at my parents like, "Please say no." And of course, I had to sing again. So there was that. But then growing up, I've always wanted to be a performer. So that was kind of my first taste of what being a performer would be like. So then at the age of 10, my parents forcefully also joined me into another singing engagement. So this was a competition. It was a singing competition. And they said we were going to the mall. When I got there, it was auditions, and they had already filled out the registration forms. And
Oh my God.
yeah, they've already given the music. So it's a really funny story. So I eventually won that singing competition, which was crazy. And it's something that I always thank my parents for, like because they saw I had the potential. They really didn't stop on trying to kind of get me out there and start singing in front of other people. So after that competition, I kind of gained more confidence in myself. And there was a reality singing competition for kids and teens in Canada. So it was televised all over Canada. And I remember that being like the first time that I wanted to actually perform. And it was something that I asked my parents that like, can I do this? Will you help me go to the auditions and stuff like that? So my parents have always been very supportive. And it's something that I definitely enjoyed. It was called The Next Star, and I made it to the top 6. So I lived in a place called Toronto for like 6 months. And after that, I knew that I really wanted to keep doing this, singing more in front of people. And at the age of 12, they said that there was auditions for The Voice Kids in the Philippines. So my grandma told my parents that. And I really wanted to fly to the Philippines right away to audition. And so I did. And the rest is history. So yeah, that's why I'm here now.
It's funny because I think on the channel we checked out some of your first like auditions in The Voice Philippines Kids, and because your sort of growth, not only as a man but like as an artist, has been so public. You know what I mean? Like you sang since you were really young, and now you're a grown ass man. You know what I mean? You're like 21 now, right?
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to always see that, because that's funny you say like you were probably a bit of a shy kid when you were younger, you didn't want to perform and stuff. Sometimes the way you just build confidence is just putting yourself through the fire, trusting the people around you, and then building up that kind of character until it becomes your own skin,
Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm very thankful that my parents did that. So now I have the confidence to perform, and I get to do what I love, which is really performing.
Must have been mad though.
I was gonna say.
It must have been like, oh my God, what the hell do I do?
What was your thought process behind it all? Like, given the fact that it was such a surprise in the moment, what did you actually feel like?
Did you actually think you were, well, because you did say you wanted to be a performer, but did you actually think it was gonna, arguably you've had a career that people dream of, you know what I mean? So
yes.
Did you ever think it was gonna go that well?
I know, I never imagined it to be this big. And it's something that I'm always very grateful for, the trust that people put into me, and especially the supporters that I have. They're called the Darren Addicts. They haven't stopped supporting me ever day one. And yeah, it's one of my goals really was just to be able to perform in the Philippines on TV, but I never would
Right.
have imagined that it would have reached this far.
Yeah.
So I'm just very grateful for everything.
Damn, my Sab Natin To goes every Sunday, right? You've done so many
Yeah.
of those. So from having to only do like one performance on TV, you've done thousands, dude.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned ASAP. That was one of the shows I would watch on the Filipino
Nice.
channel ever since I was a kid, and it was one of my goals to be able to perform there, even just once. And then now I'm part of the main cast of it. So it's really crazy how things just happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
The stars align. Talking about working in ASAP with one of the most influential artists worldwide at the moment, what are your top three Filipino artists that you have worked with or maybe dream to work with so far? No specific order whatsoever.
Just
Yeah.
some of your favorites.
It's always such a difficult question,
Right?
whenever people ask that. But I mean, of course, my coach from The Voice, Ate Sara Geronimo, is one of the people that I always enjoy working with. And she's just very down to earth. I mean, all of them are. It's just she's someone that I've looked up to
Nice.
ever since I was a kid. Especially since the time that I started watching ASAP, she was like new to the cast of ASAP. So
Right.
I kind of found a bit of relatability to her since she was the youngest in the cast. So she was one of the performers that I always enjoyed watching on ASAP. And of course, there was also a time where I got to collaborate with Tito Gary Valenciano,
Nice.
yeah, and Tito Martin Rivera. So
Amazing.
just a few of the Filipino acts that I have always looked up to, especially since my parents are huge fans of them.
Yeah.
Always listening to their songs in the car on CDs, and um, yeah, and being able to do collaborations with them on Asap Natin To and guest in their concerts or vice versa. It's just crazy to me how it's all happening now. So yeah, of course, other icons I've been able to perform with as well. So I'm just very grateful for all those opportunities.
Yeah, it's always, I guess, I mean, excuse how sort of like media like that question is,
Oh
the
yeah,
top
sorry.
three artists and stuff. But it's like, it's always
Yeah.
interesting how, especially in the development of an artist, because you started so young, it's like, what are kind of the influences or things that they're exposed to
Yeah.
that kind of maybe not help you find your sound, but kind of help you mature as an artist.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I think that's also really interesting about you, that you've really, at least when we check out so much music from all over the world, one of the things that stands out is when an artist has found their sound and it's so unique, and that you probably know as an artist, that's probably the hardest path to find your own sound. Someone that's just Darren, or someone that's Valeska, or someone that's Efra, and then translate that into a studio is really difficult. So seeing kind of who you kind of looked up to or you worked with, it makes sense, that the journey's kind of come to what it is now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of them have had a big influence on my musicality and also the songs I perform growing up. So now, whenever I get to hang out with them and I get to ask for tips and stuff like that, I really couldn't imagine that I'm really talking to them sometimes. Like until now, I've been working with them for years, but I still have that starstruck moment whenever I get to perform with them or talk to them without the work involved, just really have a human connection with them. Really, it's just something different.
That's crazy. Can you imagine having like dinner with Sarah Geronimo just talking, or Gary?
Yeah, right.
Just all that must be insane, dude.
I know,
Talk
it's
about
like,
normal life.
yeah, it's really crazy.
You had your first solo concert when you were only 14 years old. Can
Mm.
you walk us through that experience? That is one hell of an experience overall.
Actually, and then we'll put into perspective, doing traveling all over the world and then performing
Yes.
now. So let's just go perhaps all the way back in the time machine.
Yeah. So my first major concert was held at the MOA Arena. So that's where, Ariana Grande, Ed Sheeran has performed, all the major artists from,
Mad.
Hollywood, all over the world. So being the youngest performer at the time to stage a sold out concert at the Mo Arena, I couldn't imagine that it would actually be happening. It was really insane, being 14 at the time and being new to the industry and having people trust you that much to stage a concert at such a big venue. It's just, for me, it was just a roller coaster ride from the rehearsals to actually performing it for everyone. I just really had a fun time, before going on stage. Until now, I always feel very nervous. I feel like I'm gonna puke or something, but then it just goes away.
What the
I'm thankful that I'm glad it goes away while I'm performing, but until now, I still have that feeling. And I just remember having a moment, this full circle moment where I was just on the stage looking at the crowd, and I was like, wow, this is really happening, Darren. Good job. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, and then obviously now, many years later,
Mm.
I don't know if you've ever been to London. Have you been to London before?
Yeah, it's gonna be my second time
Second
this
Nice.
October. Yeah.
So, from 14 performing in front of large crowds,
Mhm.
you say you get a bit nervous. So I presume you probably, I don't know, you're probably a bit used to it sometimes.
Mhm.
But now you're coming to the 1MX and thousands of people again. What goes into the preparation now that you sort of had so many kind of lessons and learning experiences and toured before and stuff like that? What goes into preparing for 1MX kind of thing?
Before I would kind of just, being a kid, I would just kind of depend whatever I would sing on my management or my parents. I would kind of be like, would it be okay if I sang this? But now it's like when I want to sing something, I put it in my set list and stuff like that. So I guess, being a young adult, I have more control of everything now, and I'm more involved in stuff, especially in my craft. So we're gonna start doing band rehearsals very soon for 1MX, and also I think there's gonna be dancers as well. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of preparation that's going into this, and we're all very excited. And we heard the news that the VIP section is sold out, which is incredible. So we're just very thankful to everyone who has already supported 1MX, and we're just very excited to be performing for all our kababayans there in London.
Dude, you gotta be surprised. There's gotta be people from all over the world watching. It's
Yeah,
sort
we
of,
were just talking about that. It's incredible.
Yeah, and
So many people that are not even Filipinos. They're coming in for the high quality music and entertainment, and that to me speaks volumes. Though, think about it from the
Thank you.
perspective of because good music knows no
we
boundaries.
were literally
and-
just saying that before recording.
Yeah.
It's like it literally knows no limits. If it's good
Correct.
music, it literally can introduce people to new culture, new flavors, new people. And I think you're definitely one of those pioneers at the moment
bearers,
of the new generation bringing that kind of new sound. I also saw your collab with Callum Scott, which is nice to see you collaborate with sort of artists from all over the
you.
world. So it's good stuff, and it we're living examples of that. It sort of makes you, hey, hold on a second, let me maybe find out another artist because I now know Darren from the Philippines, and then you kind of go down that rabbit hole and you just find good music. So congrats on that, man. It means a lot.
Thank you. It definitely means a lot. Also, like hearing comments like these from you guys, because I feel like I don't really hear many comments from people who aren't Filipinos, but when I do, it's really nice to hear. So thank you so much.
Do you read comments? Because you're one famous guy. Do you read comments like in your stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I read comments everywhere on my performances, on interviews, on my social media. I just
Doesn't
want to
that
see
get
what people are commenting.
Doesn't
Doesn't
it?
that get exhausting?
Doesn't it
though?
get a
Like,
bit mad? Yeah, like so many opinions.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of how you're gonna take it at the end of the day,
Mm.
and how you're gonna handle these comments, how you'll let it affect you or not. But for me, I've been reading comments ever since, after my blind audition, I was 12, so I've been reading comments since then, and it hasn't really affected me because I guess I don't know, like even my family's weirded out when I have people who hate on me or hate comments and stuff like that, and they're like, "How can you be okay with this?" And I'm like, I don't know, I just am. It's really just a matter of how you're gonna take it at the end of the day. So
Comes with the territory kind of thing.
yeah, definitely. And it's something that I guess I've been used to since I did go into the industry at a pretty young age, so reading
Right.
comments now really doesn't affect me as much. Yeah.
Bruv, I think we're also all internet kids. So
Oh,
it's kind of
correct.
like,
We've been
Yeah.
raised by the
because
internet,
I'm
right? So,
24 and Ballet's a bit older. She's 27,
Mm.
but we're all kind of in that age where it's like, yeah, your comments is just comments. You just kind of grow
Yeah.
up with it. You know what I mean? So it's normal.
We got, our generation really came in with, technology and social media becoming big and starting up. So I feel like
mhm.
it doesn't affect us as much. Yeah.
Well, random question. Now that we're here talking about technology, what is like a friendship that started online and now it's like full-on fledged out friends now, like in
Oh
real
my
life too?
gosh.
Damn, that's
I-
a good ass question. What the hell?
Yeah, because
I don't
you
know,
know how
'cause-
you make friends like on TikTok and you're like, oh my god, I love this,
Yeah.
and then
Or like,
you
let's
start
collaborate
texting
kind of
and
thing. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, aside from Callum Scott, such a huge artist and very down to earth. One of like the very good examples that I could think of at the top of my head would be my best friend, AC Bonifacio, who is
No way.
a talented dancer. Yeah, so
She's
we're both
amazing.
from Canada. We're both from Canada. She's from Vancouver. I'm from Calgary. And she already knew me before we met here in the Philippines because of the reality show that I entered in Canada, the one that was on TV. And then she
Right.
was already performing on Ellen and stuff as well, with Ariana in Vancouver and stuff like that. So I knew about her as well, even before we got to the Philippines. So one day I kind of just messaged her like, "Oh my gosh, you're from Vancouver."
Hi.
Yeah, I was like, "Hi, it's so cool that there's other Filipinos in the entertainment industry here in Canada that are doing their thing." And um there was a time where she also watched me and she was like, "Wow, there was this Filipino kid on a TV show as well here in Canada." So, yeah, we already knew who we were. It's just we weren't friends yet. So I feel like we really just became friends after she also came to the Philippines and entered a competition here. So yeah, that's one of the stories I have from internet friends becoming real life friends. So
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
she's a good dancer.
She's amazing.
She's an
She's so
amazing dancer.
talented. I saw one of her clips dancing like a solo. I think it's in the new show Beat Lyric and Beat.
Yeah, Lyric
You're a
and
part of it, right? I saw
Yeah.
one of her dances and I was like, damn, the girl got moves. It was really good. You guys,
You're also heavily involved in
Yeah.
Lyric and Beat, right?
Yes, so we are what they call a love team in that show.
Ooh.
So yeah, we're a love interest there. So it's really funny, best friends. They put you into a show where you kind of have a thing for each other. It's really interesting. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that it's her I have a love interest
course.
with in the show because it just makes everything. It just makes it 10 times easier. Everything's just easier, from
You're a bit more comfortable, kind of thing.
yeah, the chemistry and everything is already there. There's no awkward tension and stuff.
Mm.
Is it
Let-
what is it? Is it like acting or is it like a reality kind of thing?
So Lyric and Beat is a musical series. So it's my first TV series because I've done a movie before, but this is my first time acting on a series. And
Damn, Darren.
thank you. It's very
Good shit.
it's a different environment
Mhm.
from the performing and stuff. Like when you get on set, everything is kind of different in terms of I guess discipline, knowing
Mm.
your lines when you get on set, you have to be in your character and stuff like that. So you really have to get on set knowing what you have to do and what you have to shoot in that day and stuff like that. So I'm just glad that we had the time to do workshops back in December before going into what we call a lock-in, because in the Philippines you have to do lock-ins, so you kind of
Mhm.
put everyone in what they call a bubble to be
Like a
able
bubble.
to
Yeah.
a show and stuff like that, so that there's less chances of the COVID spreading around and that. So yeah.
I see.
So-
Yeah,
talk
so it's
to-
less risk. Yeah.
Actually, I'm actually quite interested about that. Talk to us a little bit more about the mental process also of changing from performing as a dancer, as a singer, to actually acting, because they're completely different disciplines. Like, what was your mental approach to it all?
Well, for example, in singing, my discipline really is just about, taking care of my voice, resting, knowing what to eat, what not to drink, and stuff like that. But then in acting, I mean, like, In singing, it's a lot easier to memorize songs because it
Lyrics and
has a
stuff.
melody to it. Yeah, it has a melody to it that you can kind of have that attachment to. But then when you're reading a script and you're trying to memorize lines, you really have to keep going over and over again because it's harder to get in your head for some reason. But sometimes there's in instances where we have new scripts on the set and you have to just memorize it right before the take. So it's all about adjustment as well, adjusting yourself to your environment and just being present. You have to be present, you know, mentally and physically and emotionally as well because sometimes we shoot scenes where you're gonna be crying in the morning, and then after that you're gonna be happy. You have to shoot a happy family scene and stuff like that. So um, it takes up a lot of you know your emotional and mental health, but it's really fun because
It's true
I,
It's
though.
like
I
emotional energy must be
Yeah.
drained after you do scenes like
yeah
that.
Yeah, especially when we get home because we go home to one compound.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of like we don't want to sleep yet because we kind of just want to relax and chill
It's
for a
like
bit. But I'm
talk about the whole experience of the day, definitely.
yeah, like oh my gosh, wow, we really did that today. But I'm glad that I get to work with friends who I've known for a long time now, including my best friend AC, and also everyone, even from the production to the staff, our director, everyone's very chill. You know, we all help each other out, and we know when it's time to work and when it's time to like, you know, you can kind of play around and stuff.
That's
Yeah. I
amazing.
think like actually one of the things that surprised me about you when we first kind of discovered your music was we discussed it off of camera. I'm not sure if we said it on the reviews or the videos, but we were like, damn, like he could really do theater, or maybe I'll be
Mhm.
interested if he could go more like the theatrical route,
It's a
maybe.
Broadway idea, like the West End type of like style of singing.
And I didn't know that you didn't have a background in acting because it just seemed like I don't know. I think we checked out that video with you and Morissette singing.
A whole new
Aladdin.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, this kid is like,
it's perfect for Disney.
yeah, it's like what's going on here?
Yeah.
And now the fact that you are kind of working on that acting pedigree,
Mm.
dude, the possibilities are so endless. And I always admire people that because you don't really have to learn how to act. You're already in a position in your career with singing and dancing that like you
Mhm.
could just carry on doing that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
taking on new challenges, which I think is the right thing to do anyways. But it's admirable because it's like, well, he didn't really have to do it. He wants to because it's kind of like a development
Hmm.
aspect
Mhm.
of things. Is that why you kind of did it? You wanted to kind of take on a new challenge, or perhaps it was just an opportunity that came up?
Well, I've always been fascinated with actors and how, you know, they can portray different roles and different emotions and characters and stuff like that. So I myself have always wanted to be part of a project in acting.
Hmm.
So I've done one movie here in the Philippines, and then this is my first time doing a series. So hopefully I get to do more in the future because I do enjoy acting. I didn't imagine myself to enjoy it as much as I did while we were shooting Lyric and Beat. So hopefully more opportunities to act again in the future.
Hopefully, Hollywood.
Hopefully. Who knows? I mean, wow, the sky's the limit,
Yeah.
right? Also,
Yeah.
can I just say, your vocal development overall, it's one of the most fascinating too, because your voice has matured into this velvety goodness perfection, right?
Thank
But
you.
what are the songs and the artists that you were listening to develop such a sound at such an early age? Because you came to the voice with a sound, a staple, something already there.
Oh, thank
So what was kind of like your influences from the beginning?
My influences have always been Bruno Mars, really, and Michael Jackson. Those are my top two because they both sing and dance, but at the same
Mm,
time, the vocals are just out of this world. So it's something
impeccable,
that,
yes.
yeah, have had such a huge impact on my singing style and my musicality as well. So, yeah, those two artists, really.
And then you mentioned as well, like when being a singer, you have to kind of take care of is like your vocal health and warm
Yeah.
ups and stuff like that. What and you mentioned things to eat, not to eat. Are you quite like strict when it comes to like your voice and vocal health and all that stuff? What's the process? taking care of Darren's voice?
Um, I mean, it depends if my parents are with me. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, my parents are always, on the top of it when they see me um trying to drink, cola or something cold, or trying to eat ice cream before a performance. They'll say it right away, like, "Are you sure you want to do that? I feel like you should just wait afterwards." So, I
Dude,
definitely
I,
appreciate it.
apologies to interrupt. I heard this story. I don't know if it's true, but I heard the story of Regine Velasquez. Apparently, she drinks, and I think Morissette told us this.
Yeah.
Apparently, she drinks a cold glass of water with ice before singing.
What?
Yeah.
And when we heard that, we were like, "What in the?" What?
That nothing makes sense.
And that dude, and Regine has, she's probably has one of the most blessed larynxes in the world.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh. She's something else, man. But in response to that story, I mean, scientifically, if you think about it, the vocal cords are a muscle, and some athletes go into an ice bath after working out, their muscles and stuff like that. So it would make sense, to kind of have the swelling go down, drink ice cold water. It works for some singers. For some singers, it doesn't. It makes their voice kind of a bit
Restricted.
hoarse. Yeah, a bit hoarse and a bit croaky at some times. But for me personally, I feel like you just have to know how your voice works, because I've done performances before where I eat ice cream before going on stage, just because I'm for the boredom of it.
You mad man! Oh my gosh!
But it doesn't. Yeah, that's where I'm surprised. Like, I've tested my vocal cords to that extent where I know what will affect me on stage and what won't. So,
And
um,
what are your your absolute no's, like definite no-goes that you've tested and you've been like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that again?
yeah, I really can't, because I think it causes phlegm. Pineapple and also milk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really
dairy
won't.
products.
I
yeah.
won't.
Screw milk, dude. Don't like it.
I won't do that before singing. But I get, like, dairy ice cream. It's also there, so that's why I'm like, was it really just?
Yeah, sure.
And it's a really bad combo because it's like dairy, it has sugar, and it's cold. Like it's just a terrible combo.
I feel like, I don't know, man. It's weird. I feel like my days also have its days where you can sing whatever you want and it'll be fine. And there are days where you just have to really keep vocalizing, keep
Yeah.
waking it up. So it depends on that as well. What else? I feel like, what else can I not eat? Anything that's, popcorn. Yeah, I'll keep coughing. Or chips that are too grainy. Just kind of get stuck in the throat. But I feel like it's okay as long as I drink a lot of water before singing or performing. So, yeah.
Well, all right, bruv. Tell me this, because obviously singing big part of you, dancing also a big part of you. What was that journey like? Because you probably started singing first, I would presume, and then you picked up dance later on.
Yeah. So
People love your dancing, dude.
thank you. It's really a huge compliment whenever people compliment my dancing, because it's not my first love. It's really singing that's my first love. I only started dancing because of the reality shows that I got into. Like The Next Star, I had to dance for a few performances. But what really kind of trained me in dancing would be Asap Natin To, because it's a weekly show. It happens every Sunday. So every Sunday I have to learn a new dance, and it's different skill levels of dancing. Sometimes they'll make me do a dance that's just a dance craze, very simple. And then another week they'll make me do a dance number with people who have competed in other countries for dance and stuff like that. So really, it's something that I have just gotten used to, I guess. And yeah, I'm glad that even my friends who are really good at dancing, like Kenneth San Jose, AC Bonifacio, have noticed that I've improved in dancing, really. So I feel like I found my own groove in it as well. And I just keep watching videos of myself dancing to see on how I can improve, what looks awkward, what I can do to make it better and stuff like that. Because it's really all about practice, even with singing.
Yeah, definitely. And when we're talking about practice, it's more about like is getting to when it comes to dancing, I think it's more about getting to know your own body and what works in your body and what doesn't. Because sometimes how can you make the awkward work and what fiddles with your body the best? And it's all different because you might be learning from like somebody who's been dancing their whole lives, but there are certain things that to them is so natural,
It looks,
and
yeah.
to you it's like a completely brand new thing. It's so
Yeah.
I admire people like you that pick
Well,
up dancing like
probably,
that.
and you'll
Thank
agree, Darren, as well. There's like freedom and liberty in repetition. So
Yes,
when you
yes.
develop that in practice, the more reps you put into something, the more free you become. And obviously with
Yeah.
dance, it's essentially movement. So the more, definitely the key to it is definitely just practice, but practice with the ability to make, with the freedom to make mistakes, and the
Yeah.
fact that you're doing it on TV, it's kind of mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that I also got used to as well, since it is something that happens every Sunday. There are times where I would look back and I would cringe at how I used to dance, but it's a part of growing up as well,
Of
and
course.
Of
um,
course.
finding the right moves and stuff, growing up in the industry as well. So there's always room for improvement, and the next Sunday, for example, is a chance to be better. Every day. So
How
uh,
spoil this for me, because we've had a few artists come on that have been to ASAP Nothing Talk, but I've actually never asked them this. What's the preparation process for ASAP? Because sometimes we've heard, like, I think Bugoy told us once it was in ASAP and then the song just came like 24 hours beforehand, and then you just kind of have to do it. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. What's the process of that? Because some
so
of the
they
shows, because some of the performances are top notch. So you
Thank
presume
you.
there's lots of time for preparing, but sometimes not.
No, really, it's not because it is a weekly Sunday show. We or I mean, our staff and our production would only start meetings the day after. So Sunday is the show, and then Monday they start the meetings,
Oh,
what kind of numbers we should do, and then we get the songs that we have to perform and study around Thursday for
oh
the
my
song,
God.
and then on Friday and Saturday we can rehearse with the dancers and stuff like that for the dance numbers, and then we do stage blocking sometimes on Saturday, but most of it happens the
On
morning of
Sunday.
Sunday
Yeah.
when it's live. So there's that, and then ever since the pandemic hit, we started doing cycles at Asap Natin To. So every first Sunday of each month is live, and the rest we tape. So you can imagine like squeezing 4 weeks of Asap into 4 days. So
Woo.
it's very hectic sometimes. We have Sunday live, and then Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday we're taping, we're shooting the other episodes. So we've kind of gotten used to it where we just kind of take it day by day, like after our live, okay, it's time to learn the song for tomorrow's episode. And then after we shoot the next episode, okay, let's learn the dance for tomorrow's episode.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, but it's really fun. I feel like if it's really your passion, you won't get tired of doing it, and you won't really complain. So
But
yeah.
I think that this alludes to the point. I guess it's kind of become a meme on our YouTube channel that I say the highest level of singing and the highest pedigree of singing in terms of competitions and shows comes from the Philippines at the moment. I
Thank
think,
you.
no, genuinely, I
No,
think like
a
skill for skill.
it's a fact.
I think singing wise, in terms of also because like Asap Natin To ABS, they kind of do things really raw to the take in terms of sound. So it's like if there's no playback, there's no mad mixing or anything like that. There's no magic. It's just that's Darren's voice.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
that's Inigo's voice. That's AC Bonifacio's voice. That's their dance.
Yeah.
So it's like skill for skill. I genuinely think the highest level at the moment comes from the Philippines, and the reason might be also because you guys are putting so many repetitions
Correct.
in difficult environments.
I also do feel like that adds to your capability to adapt in live performances better than nobody else.
Well,
because
Mhm.
of the uncertainty of working on TV like in this manner?
Well, I'll tell you this, Darren. If I see you right in ASAP, for example, or I see you in another show, and then I'm like, oh wow, this happens every Sunday. Probably not that much time to prepare. And then you announce a tour or a concert. I'm like, bro, take all of my
Absolutely.
money. This guy is like so warm, so
Thank
well
you.
practiced. You know what I mean? So it's like, it makes sense. And I think that's why as well in the Philippines, it seems, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, live music comes first. It's like studio tracks and studio sound is second. People adore live singing.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's true. That's kind of the sense I get from all the comments and people telling us stuff. But it shows, man, because all these television shows, competitions, it's like it's brutal because it's so fast, so many songs, weekly basis.
Yeah.
It's bound to make a world-class performer.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the dedication, I guess, as well. And if it's your passion, like I said earlier, you would really do everything to kind of perfect that craft and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we enjoy it. So it's really something that we look forward to every Sunday as well.
So what do you do in your free time to relax?
In my free time, well, I really like to sleep. Like some people think it's a joke. Like
I'm the
I
same.
sleep as much as I can. Yeah, like if you can sleep in the next day, man, I really will like keep sleeping. Because you never know. Like sometimes because our schedule is so unpredictable, you
Mhm.
never know when the next time you're gonna be able to sleep for that long will be. So I kind of just sleep if I have a rest day. But other than that, because you really need rest for your voice. Other than that, I like to kind of hang out with my friends, go to the cinema or watch a movie, or go to the gym, or binge watch whatever is popular or what people are talking about as well. And of course, hang out with my family. So that's some of the things that I do. I also like to go on like food trips, like looking for food restaurants that I haven't tried yet before, or go on road trips as well. So yeah.
How early are you gonna arrive to London for the Wonder Mix? Do you know? Like a few
I
days, or you're gonna
think
be here?
we have to rehearse a bit first before the show as well. So we're gonna be there a few days before the actual event. So we have a bit of time as well to
Yeah.
go around London. I mean, I've been
Hit
there
some
before,
spots.
so yeah, I'm just gonna bring my friends to some places that I went to before. And also I've been going through Instagram, like hashtag places to go in London and stuff like that. So I've saved a few places on my Instagram that I wanna go visit as well.
Dude, if because obviously we're from London. Um,
Yeah.
Whenever you get here, because we'll be there as well. There's
Mm-hmm.
you gotta visit. You definitely have to visit Camden for like the food
100%.
market, because you just walk around and there's just it's just places to eat everywhere,
From all around the world. Like you get food
Ooh.
from all around the world.
and
It's
it
fantastic.
cheap as hell, and it's like a walking experience. So
Yeah.
you just get different places and like the different food. But then if you want to go, yeah, bruv, just hit one of us up and we'll give you some nice places.
Yeah,
Because I'll
we'll
tell
get
you
you some
this,
of our favorite
because I'll
spots
tell you
here.
this, like if I was going to go to Manila, right, and I looked up like Instagram stuff, it probably wouldn't. And so like you, and then I show you, and you'll be like, Ephra, those restaurants, they're all right, but then you gotta go to this ones. Only like the locals know, kind of thing.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I
Hit
think,
us up. We'll get you to the good places.
yeah. Or just ask the
Okay.
locals. I just ask the locals. They'll be more than happy. But it's like if you want to taste, because London is amazing. Like it has so many amazing cuisines. Um,
Yeah.
you'll probably get lost just trying to find restaurants and stuff. So, but it's an experience, man. It's an experience.
Definitely. I'm so excited to be back as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. Can I just ask you one last question though? We talked about some of the most memorable moments in your career so far. Of course, feel free to add any more if you like to. But what are some of your most embarrassing memories?
Whoa.
Right? Because
Mm.
like when we grew up in the music industry in Venezuela when we were kids as well.
Wow.
So we kind of have a little feeling of what it's like to look back at some of this footage when you were a kid.
Not bad at the present moments.
No,
Just
but
the
just
ones
a
that,
bit cringy.
yeah, you're like, oh my god. 'Cause
I was like, why did I do
I
that?
think, dude, we spoke to Easy Mill, and he told us the
Uh,
whole story. He told us one like he was in China, I think, and
mhm.
he had to perform this guitar solo, and he just froze. He was like 9 years old, and he just froze.
And that's
then,
like his horror story.
and he says he has dreams about this. And he's like, oh my God, I knew the solo. I practiced it at home. And it was just hilarious. And with him, it's like, he has so much energy and confidence. Same as you. It's like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't presume you've made any mistakes because you guys carry yourself so well. So it's like any moments like that, like you were like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot. I feel like, oh my gosh, during the papal visit, when the Pope was here in the Philippines, I was one of the
boy.
singers. And, you know, millions of people there watching you. No big deal. I'm kidding. But
No
it's
big
really-
deal.
Oh
No
my
pressure.
God.
No big deal. You know, I was 14 at the time, and I just remember them announcing my name to sing "Tell the World of His Love," Darren Espanto, and the music starts playing, and I forget. My mind just goes blank, and I run to one of the singers, one of the choir members, and I'm like, "What's the first lyric to the song?" And then they said, "For God so loved the world," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they started the music again, thankfully. And then after I sang the first line, I remembered everything after that. I just remember like practicing for weeks and then getting there and going blank. That's something really. I mean, I thought it wouldn't happen in real life because you hear it from other people and you're like, oh, I wonder how that happens. But then it happens to you and you're like, wow, it can really happen. So that's one of the instances where it was kind of embarrassing, or I didn't remember what was happening. But other embarrassing moments, I feel like when I would watch my earlier dance performances from ASAP, and I felt like if you would just keep giving it your all, if you just keep doing big movements or keep being that energetic, people are gonna like it and you're gonna look good. But looking at it now, like, whoa, like I just want to tell myself, calm down, man. Like, it's like, oh no, I didn't have. If I'm watching Darren right now from like earlier on in ASAP, like 2015, doing dance numbers, I would be like, calm down, like. Because I didn't really have the sense of what control was, technique, or the textures were in dancing. So when they would teach me the steps and I would get it, I'd be like, okay, I'm fine. I can perform it. I've memorized the steps. But there's really a lot more to it that I really get now, especially since, I get to dance with, again, one of my friends, AC Bonifacio. So seeing how they train and their discipline as well, and you think that they know they're good,
Yeah.
and then you ask them and they're like, no, I have training tomorrow. Oh, I didn't like what I did in this dance. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing that I cringe at when I watch it. But yeah.
All right, let's stop the embarrassing memories, dog.
I always find it hilarious though, because I feel like whoever has been in the spotlight will always have
course,
one of
it's
those
normal.
horror stories, like things that might not mean anything else to anybody out there, but to you they're like the absolute worst thing that ever happened.
And we're part of the internet age. It's just there for everyone to see.
I know. Gosh.
man.
Well, that's the mad thing. You grew up in the spotlight, dog. Like,
Insane.
Yeah, there's that too. So I mean, everything I did ever since I was a kid, it's just there on the internet for everyone to see too. So there's no, you really have to be conscious about what you do sometimes, especially, yeah, since you are a public figure and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just something like sometimes I just want to delete some things from the internet, like performances like that. But it's a part of growing up, like I said earlier.
Of course.
No.
It's only exciting though to find that growth. After all, because of that, you're able to then polish and become a better performer in the future. I only think it's part of the journey, wherever you are in the journey.
Definitely.
I think people understand it closer for some reason with athletes. Sometimes they lose, sometimes they win, but that's part of the process.
But art is
with music, it's the same as well. Sometimes you have good shows, bad shows, great shows, and it's just kind of part of the journey. I just think that's probably sound advice to everyone if you were to have the chance to have a look at your younger self not just with the dance, but like have a look at your younger self and you maybe, yeah, that's just easy, dog, because everything's gonna be okay.
We got time. We got time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just gotta trust the process, and like you have to know that you have your own timeline in life, so you can't really rush things because when I was about to turn 21, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm turning 21. I feel like I'm losing time. I feel like there's so much time wasted. And then now I'm 21. I'm like, oh man, you got time. just
We got
calm down.
time.
Yeah.
So
Chill.
what are like your what are you hoping for? What are your dreams in terms of your career? Like what's keeping you kind of motivated, the goals you have at the moment?
Well, I hope to do more, international collaborations like the one I did with Callum Scott, or release music internationally as well, because it's definitely something I've always wanted to do, and also do more acting as well, and stage more concerts definitely. Since singing is my first love, and I feel like I haven't released an album in a while, so I want to make that one of my goals for this year or next year as well.
Nice stuff, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Darren.
1MX, 1st of October. You can get your tickets. All the links and all the information will be in the description below. One of the artists that, again, man, I know, especially for singers, like making the time to speak for such a long period of time when rest is king for singers. I appreciate that a lot, man. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, it's good. Thank you so much for having me. It was nice meeting you too. And I'll see you guys also in October.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Darren.
We'll set something up. We'll show you some of the nice London restaurants.
Yes.
Please, thank you.
No, good man. Thank you so much, everybody. Darren.
Okay.